Hey kids, welcome to the final part of Lesson 2, Multi-Screen Apps. Today we are going to be making version 2 of our chaser game. Guided example, making a multi-screen chaser game. In the last lesson, we got some very basic functionality for a simple chaser game going. Now let's make version 2. Now that we know how to add screens and use console.log to help us debug programs, let's make our game a little more polished. Here's the plan for what we're going to do today. Below you can see we have 3 screens. The first one is a welcome screen. This is basically going to tell the user how your game is played, and there's going to be a button for the user to click to take them to the actual game. The second screen is going to be the chaser game, and we're going to improve our chaser game so that you can lose by clicking on the background. In their example, clicking on the target banana makes it jump around just like before, but clicking on the background image sends you to another screen. The third screen is a game over screen. I know, that's sad. We're going to add a button inviting people to play our game again, though. Clicking it sends them back to the welcoming screen. So screen 1, a start. Screen 2 is going to be the actual game. Screen 3 is a you lose, and then start over. Let's go ahead and get started with our game. Add a welcome screen. Let's improve our chaser game by adding a welcome screen that shows when the app starts up and a button to start the game. Note, we've imported the chaser game that you made in the last lesson. That's the starting point for this. You can continue with that lesson, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But if you do, you'll need to make a new screen for gameplay along the way. I think that's what I'm actually going to do. As much as I love the Rocket game, I think we're going to start from scratch and make an entirely new game. We're going to follow the event-driven programming pattern. That is design mode, add a new screen to the app, make a new screen the default screen, add a button to the screen that says start, add some text welcoming the user to the game, and give the button and screen meaningful IDs. 2, we're going to add an on-event handler for the button. We're going to insert a new on-event block, easy ways from design mode for the start button. We're going to add code to the event handling function. When the start button is clicked, it should set screen to the screen that plays the game. We're going to run, test, debug. We have a make sure here. Make sure when your app starts up, your new welcome screen shows first. When you click the start button, it takes you to the gameplay screen. Note, right now there's no way to get back to the welcome screen. That's okay, we're going to add that a little later. So that's what we have to do. Like I said, I think I am going to start over. So I'm going to go to my version history and click start over, and this should take me back to a blank everything. There is the move it all the way back from the beginning of lesson 2. That's okay, we're going to get rid of all of this in a second. The first thing we need to do is to come up with a theme. And today I'm feeling very inspired by pizza. Yes, you heard that correctly, pizza. My thoughts is it'd be pretty fun if we could have a game where you click on the toppings you do want, and then any toppings that you don't want will take you to an end screen. I would definitely play that game. That's kind of my rough outline for it. Let's go ahead and start building it. First thing I'm going to do is go to design. We no longer need this move it, so I'm going to delete that. I have a blank screen here. I'm going to change this to welcome screen. That'll let us know what this will do as we move forward. I'm going to add an image, drag the image box over here. I'm going to upload a new file. For my background, I got this open pizza box. So I'm going to click on that, find it on my list, and click choose. I'm going to drag this so it takes up almost all of the screen. I want a really large box. That's pretty good. Takes up a lot of the screen. I think everybody will get what I'm trying to do here. I'm going to use an image as my graphic for my game. I'm going to go back, drag another image up here, go down to choose, upload file, and I have this little pizza party right here. So I'm going to click on that, come down here, click on that, and then I'm going to make this just a little bigger. That looks pretty inviting, nice little graphic, tells me exactly what my game is, but I still need to put some instructions. So I think down here, I'm going to write the rules of the game, and then I'm going to have them click on the pizza here to get started. Getting text up there, drag a label into the middle. The ID for this is going to be rules. And now we go to the text. To define the rules, we need to talk about the game. The game I'm going to design is going to have a large cheese pizza. For my vegetarian friends out there, we're not going to put pepperoni on it. We're going to put the best topping for a pizza. And there's only one right answer, kids. You're right, that is onions, and lots of them. So anytime the user clicks on an onion, it goes to another spot on the pie. But I think I'm also randomly going to have appear on the pizza is the worst topping. That's right, only one answer again, and that is pineapple. So anytime that the user clicks on a pineapple by mistake, it'll take them to the you lose screen. Maybe we should add that if they click on the background of the cheese pizza, it sends them there too. So you really have to be precise about clicking on the delicious, delicious onion. How am I going to write that out? Well, I'm going to come back to that in a minute, to be honest. Right now, I can just put click on the pizza party to go to the next part, and I'll develop my game. Once I got the game really figured out, I'll come back and add this last. I'm going to add one more label then here. And this one is going to be start directions. And the text is going to say, click on the pizza party image to start. And drag this over here. Let's go down, do our alignment center. Let's increase this font a little. Let's stretch this box out a little. Let's go ahead and center this now. It is 200, it's 45 now, let's make it 50 so we work with nice even numbers. The screen is 160 when it's cut in half. Half of 200 is 100, so 160 minus 100 is 60. In the X position, we're already right there. And I'm just going to use my arrow keys on my keyboard to center this in the Y direction. Let's go ahead and work on our game. First thing we need to do is drag another screen. This one's going to be called our game screen. And we're going to have a giant piece of cheese pizza in the middle. How do we get that? Let's go ahead and drag an image into here. Go to upload a file, find our cheese pizza, choose that. That fills up our screen very nicely. In my game, I'm going to have two different vegetables. The first, the best topping for pizza, onions. Every time a user clicks on that, it'll go to another random spot in the screen. The other piece is the most disgusting topping for a pizza, which is pineapple. And if a user clicks on that or the background image, they're going to be sent to our third screen, the you lose start over screen. Let's go ahead and add our two game pieces. First being that delicious onion. I am going to shrink it down just a little. Our second one is going to be that disgusting pineapple. Drag another image over. Upload a new file. This one is pineapple. Choose that. That is our slice of pineapple. I'm going to make it about the same size. Before I move on, I want to make sure these are both named in a meaningful way. Right now, this is image 20. Now, that really doesn't help me out too much. This is a pineapple, and my onion is a onion. Right now, it is 65 by 60. Let's just make it a perfect square, 70 by 70. This is 60 by 60. Let's go over and just make this 70 by 70. So they're both the same height. Now our game pieces have the same clickable area. If you look, my onion has a clickable area that's a little larger. Same thing with my pineapple, but more in the Y, not the X direction. So that'll make it a little more tricky. Let's have our game pieces start down here in the middle of our pizza. We could center this. Half of 450 is 225. If we subtract 70 from 225, we get 190. Let's put in our Y position, 190. Same thing with our onion, 190. Oh, it's already there. What good luck for us. This right now takes care of all of the layout of my game. Let's go ahead and go to our code and work on our mechanics. First thing I want to do is have my pieces move around the screen. I'm going to add 2 on events. The first one will be for onion. The second one will be for pineapple. And on click, I want to set their position. So I'm going to move 1 in for each. This one will be the onion, and this one will be the pineapple. I don't need to change the size right now. I don't think I'm going to either, so I'm going to take away both of these parameters. All I want to keep is my X and Y. I want this to be random, so I'm going to go into my math, and I'm going to do random numbers. I'm going to put one for both the X and the Y. Let's add the numbers into here. My 0, 0 is right here. My 450, 320 is down here. From our previous lessons, we learned we never want this to go totally off screen, and it is always measured from the origin, which is the top left. For my onion, well, both my onion and my pineapple, they are both 70 by 70. What I want to do is either add or subtract 35 to my X and Y minimums and maximums. So up here, I never want this to go totally off screen. So instead of 0, I want it to be 35. And that's going to go for both of these. That means at most half of my object will be off the screen. I would really say that would be in my Y direction as well. So we're going to take 0 up here and 0 here. So that's going to be 35 on everything. For the maximums, 320 minus 35 is 285. 450 minus 35 is 415. So we're going to put 415 for the maximum of my Y values. Let's go ahead and just click on these a little and see if this game works. Well, I forgot to do one thing. First, it takes me to my home screen, but I have no way to start my game. So let's reset. Let us go back to our code, and on the event, the start direction is clicked. We're going to set our screen to the game screen. So now I can just go down here, click, and do that. Let's hit run, click there, takes us there. And every time I click on one of my toppings, it takes me to a new spot. So that works pretty well. Let's add some different things down here. Let's add to our console.log. When they click on start, let's tell them good luck. It's always good to wish our players good luck. Same thing, let's go down here. You picked an onion, +1. And then for the pineapple, ew, gross, -1. Eventually, I think we're going to learn how to do some scorekeeping, but right now, if the user wants to, they can just keep track themselves. Let's go ahead and hit run. Let's see if this works. Click on it. We got our good luck. You gross pineapple. You picked an onion. That's pretty good. Let's add one more for our screen here. Let's reset. On the event, our game screen is clicked. We're going to set screen to an unyet determined screen. Let's go ahead and just see. We should get an error when we click on the screen. Let's just make sure that happens. Click on our image. Pineapples are still working. Ooh, screen 1 does not exist. So it's telling me screen 1 doesn't exist. That's all right. We're going to get to that in a minute. Add a full screen image to act as a background to game. We want to be able to detect when user misses clicking on the target. Since we know the screen itself registers every click no matter what, the only way to determine that the user missed a target is to add an image that takes up the full screen. In other words, we're trying to determine which of the two images was clicked, the target or the background, which is doable since we know when images overlap, only one will have to be clicked for an event to be triggered. When the target is clicked, it jumps to a new location. When the background image is clicked, we will eventually switch to a new screen. Following the event-driven pattern, design add a new image to the game, stretch it to fill the whole entire screen, change the layering order if necessary so the target image is in front of the full screen image. Set an example at the right which shows an image that is stretched to the full size of the screen setting behind the target image. Add an event handler for the full screen image with a simple console.log message. Tip, this is basically done for you if you add non-event from design mode. Run, test, debug. We have some make sure here. When the target is clicked, it jumps to a new location and optionally prints a message to the console. When the background image is clicked, it should display a message to the console. See example console output to the right. That seems pretty straightforward. Let's go to our second screen here, or our game screen. We can see our pizza here. We have it set as a background. I think really all we need to do with this is change this from a background to an image. Well, how do we do that? We go into design. We can just delete the background right there. Let's drag an image in. Let's drag this pizza so it takes up our background. That looks pretty close to what we had before. You can see it's covering up the game pieces. All we need to do is to send it all the way to the back and our game pieces are back. Let's go ahead and set a console.log message when the background is clicked. Before we move on, we want to make sure this is a meaningful ID. This is now my pizza background image. If I go to my code, let's drag another event handler in. When pizza background image is clicked, we want it to say, oh no, you missed both of the toppings. Let's go ahead and hit run and make sure that comes up. Click on the image to start. Clicking on the image, good luck. Click on our onion. Everything seems to be pretty good. Click on the screen. Oh no, you missed the toppings. So that is doing almost everything I needed to do here. Taking a look at my directions, I think we stretched an image, we changed the layering order, and we added a console.log. So it looks like everything we needed to do is done. Let's move on to our next lesson and see what we're going to do. Add a game over screen and finalize the game. We're going to add a new screen with a game over message and a button to start over. Add an event handler for the start over button to send the user back to the welcome screen. Add set screen to the event handler function for the background image. When the background image is clicked, the user should be sent to the game over screen you just created. Run, test, debug. If it's not working, retrace your steps, see if you can figure out what things are going wrong, add extra console.log statements, ask a friend to help you out. Stick with it until you get it, and that's the most important. Let's go ahead and get started on our third screen. Let's drag another screen in. We're going to call this one Game Over. Let's add an image in here. If we go to upload, we have this nice one of Evil Pizza Steve. We're going to choose that one. Let's make this a little bigger. Let's center this down here. Add a label. Sorry text. Sorry, you lost. Try again. Couple exclamation points. Let's go ahead and increase this font a little before we talk about centering it. I want to get this text a little nicer, so I just want to make sure it says you lost, try again up there. Width, we can make 200 pixels. 160 minus 100 is 60. It's already centered right there. Let's add a button down here to send us back to our home screen. We'll call this Play Again. Oops. Play Again. The name or the ID should be Play Again in camel case. Let's make this a little bigger here. Again, go up to like a nice, we want a big button. We want our users to play quite a bit. Play again, it's 140. Let's make it 150. Half of 150 is 75. 160 minus 75 is 85. So the X position should be 85. That looks pretty good to me. So when a user clicks a pineapple, it'll take them to my sorry you lost, try again screen with my Pizza Steve in a menacing fashion there. Let's make sure it's coded that way. So on the event, the pineapple is clicked. We're going to set screen to game over. And let's change something up here because we don't want our pineapple to randomly go around when we click it because we're only going to click it once. So on the event our onion is clicked, we're also going to change the pineapple position. We no longer need this log there, so we will take that off. So on the event the pineapple is clicked, we will go to the game over screen. When we get to the game over screen, we need to get back to start. We're going to drag another on event here. So on the event, play again is clicked. We want to set our screen to the welcome screen. And just to make sure our screen is always on the welcome screen, every time we run our program, we're going to have it set with the welcome screen right here. Let's go ahead and hit run and see how our game plays real quick. We have our welcome screen. We have to do a little centering and some text still here. Click on the image to start. Oh, we click on the label, so we have to change that. Click on my onion. They both go to a different location. +1 onion here. Let's see what happens when we click our pineapple. Oh no, you lost. Play again. I should hit play again. And here I go back to the home screen. Home screen needs a little work now. Let's take a minute and make sure we get that looking very professional. I'm going to go to my design. First thing I'm going to do here is center this pizza party on the box. I'm using my keyboard arrows to move it. That looks pretty good right there. Click on the pizza party image to start. We have to change that in my code, but let's go ahead and do the texturals. Clicking on a onion gets you 1 point. Watch out though, clicking on a pineapple ends the game. Let's center this text here so we know what it looks like. I'm going to come over here and just drag this a little. We can increase our font. Have a little room to work with. This looks pretty good. I still have to fix my code on the start. So let's go back here to code. Ooh, we still have this named as image 3. Let's go to design. Let's make sure this is something meaningful. We'll call this start image. Go back to my code here and start directions with click, but that's not what we want. What we want is our start image to go. So right here, we're just going to go to start image to go. That I should really be capitalized, so I'm going to make sure that's in camel case. Go back to my design, same thing there. It is capitalized up there. I think that's the good first run here. Let's go ahead and test this now. Let's hit run. We're going to click on the image to start. There we go. Gave us our good luck. Let's click on our onion. Our onion is moving. Oh, we clicked on the pineapple and it said, sorry, you lost, try again. So a couple of things here I noticed that I want to correct. First, this sorry you lost isn't centered. I want to make sure that is centered. And then we needed to say that we clicked the pineapple because it really didn't tell me what I did down here. Let's go look at our code. When the onion is clicked, let's go to variable, put sorry, you lose, you clicked on a pineapple. Give them a little sad face there. Let's click on the design, go to our game over screen. Let's click on this ID here. Oh, it looks like we have way too many spaces there. That's all that was. Make sure we put 2. Actually, if we go there, that looks pretty good like that. So everything is centered there. That looks much better than before. Let's try our game again. Let's hit run. Click on the image. Let's go back to our code, make sure our debug's up. Onion, onion, onion. Let's click on our screen. Oh no, you missed both. And our pineapple, oh, you lost. Play again, comes back to the start. Well, here we go. That's interesting. I didn't have my pineapple or my onion reset afterwards. I would have to reset and run the game for that to happen. When I click on my play again, I should have it set the coordinates for the onion and pineapple set. So how do we do that? Let's go ahead and put this up here so we have plenty of room. Let's drag another event handler down here. On the event, play again is clicked. We want to set the position of both the onion and the pineapple. I don't need any of these parameters, so I'm going to get rid of those right now. We can figure out real easy where our pineapple start at by just going to our game screen. This right here has it at somewhere around 67 by 200. Let's try that for our onion. And then we can do the same thing with our pineapple. Again, it centers up here. Should be about 187, we'll say. And the same 200 over here. Really, every time that the play button is clicked, the same thing should happen. So even making it easier, I'm just going to copy this. Control-C, Control-V. Instead of my play it again, on the event the start image is clicked, I'm going to set the same start position. Let's go ahead and see if that happens. Let's hit run. Click on our start image. There's our onion. Everything's going good. Let's click our pineapple, play it again to our image, and there it goes. It starts off at the starting spot every time. So the game seems much better this time. I can always add more stuff if I would like to. For example, when the play again button is hit, we can say good luck this time. And we can keep adding more stuff if we would like to. But right now, I think my game is pretty good. I have a welcome screen and an image I click on. I have some directions on what to do with the game, and I have directions how to start the game. My game works. Every time I click on something, it moves. It moves both of them. It gives me a log down here in my debug telling me what happened. When I click on my screen, it tells me what happened. And when I click on my pineapple, it tells me what happened. When I go to play again, it takes me back to the start and my pieces reset. I think this is all I had to do. Remember, once you hit submit on this part, it's going to come to me for your final grading. So make sure this is the final project you want to submit. You won't be able to go back and fix it once this is over. Either way, I am sure your project turned out wonderfully. I cannot wait to see it. Good job, kids.